好，那我们接下来到了一个非常重要的环节，我们这次也非常有幸的邀请到了 GitHub 的副总裁和 CSDN 的总裁创始人，两位都是我们开发圈、技术圈以及技术社区的前辈以及领军人物。他们呢将会进行一个半小时的炉边会谈。那我们会交流到很多大家关心的话题。那下面呢我们就邀请两位先生，有请蒋涛先生。有请Thomas。
大家好。我很高兴来到这个开源社的这个活动啊，我也是最早的这个发起人。我觉得这些年开源也变得越来越重要，包括作为这个国家重视的这个策略啊。前一阵，梅洪院士在给这个政府高层讲座的时候提到说，开源社区要作为国家的也是一个重点建设，所以我想未来我们这个开源社的发展应该会越来越好。Maybe Thomas give some introduction about yourself.
Hey, I'm Thomas. I'm a vice president at GitHub. I manage a team of product managers that run special projects, and we're also managing the partnership between Microsoft and GitHub. As you know, GitHub was acquired by Microsoft last year. We led this deal from June to October. And actually, our CEO, Ned Friedman, was at COSCON last year to talk at a similar fireside chat. So I'm really excited to be here. It's my first trip to China, and it's always interesting to meet with new open source developers.
谢谢。根据这个数据啊，GitHub 公布的这个数据，每年度的数据来看，这个中国开发者的这个数量，包括现有注册用户应该是4000万。然后包括每年的增量，中国的开发者都是最大的第二大，应该是仅次于美国。所以中国这些开发者在 GitHub 上的这个表现怎么样？Could you give some information about Chinese developers on GitHub?
Yeah, so it's on GitHub we see similar data. China today is the number 2 of signed up developers, and also the number 2 both in open source contributors and private repositories. And it's growing by about 35% year over year.
这有一个问题啊，大家经常也问我，就是说这个中国到底有多少开发者，包括全球到底有多少开发者？我们可以问一下。So there's also a question asked for me. So there's really how many developers in the world and how many developers in China? For your data, what's your opinion about the actual number? The total developers globally, what's the number?
I don't know the actual number of total developers, but I can tell you how many developers are registered on GitHub. We had 29 million developers last year in 2018, and now we have over 40 million GitHub accounts this year.
How many are active? If they have their code reports or something?
That's not a number we disclose publicly, but it's a significant percentage of those 40 million.
我可以公布一下我们的数据。I can share some data of CSDN. So we have 我们有5700万的注册账号，就 就注册账号，它是用 email 来注册。但是呢，我们把它排重以后，因为很多人，特别是这个中国很多的 spam 的注册，我们排重以后的，现在我们对外的公布数据是2800万。然后活跃的用户呢，在这个活跃定义很难定义啊，我觉得对它定义跟我们不一样。我们活跃的用户应该在1500万左右。So there's a number for China. So what you think? What's China's maybe portion of the global from your data?
As I said, it's number 2 after the United States. If you actually look at GitHub, only about 20% of the developers on GitHub are American developers, so 80% are all over the world. But I don't know what's the percentage for just the Greater China region.
Okay. So what we'll see in the next maybe 3 or 5 years, the developed number. So what's your opinion?
Are you asking like how much it's growing in the next years? Or I don't understand the question.
Yeah. For the growth for GitHub. So what you see in the next maybe 5 years, the number will be how many?
We expect that the number keeps growing at the same pace as it has.
The GitHub number, the active member or the release member?
Or both of them are growing like in parallel to each other. So we expect that to grow as it has been growing over the last years.
Yeah.
And we know there's like over 1 million computer science graduates in China every year. And so we expect a lot of those students to become GitHub developers.
Okay. So 对比这个中美的开源项目来说，你觉得中国的开源项目和美国的有些什么不同，或者 global 的一些开源项目有一些什么不同 ？So what's the difference between the Chinese open source projects with the global open source projects?
So I think there's not a lot of major differences between those projects. There's like minor differences. For example, Chinese developers might have on the open source projects Chinese documentation and link to WeChat. I've seen that. And then on a personal scale, whenever I meet developers, whether it's Beijing or Shenzhen or Shanghai, they're very excited and very inspired by the pride in their work and by their motivation through stars and through followers. I haven't seen that in the same way in the United States. And so there's a lot of excitement when you meet developers in China working on the open source projects, and they're very proud of showing what they've been working on. When we look at the global scale and all the open source projects and their dependencies, we call that dependency tree, so all the packages that your project depends on, we actually know that the number of community members that contribute to an open source project is much larger than just the core contributors to a project. And so we did this analysis for the top projects and figured out that for those top projects, the dependency tree has over 70,000 contributors. So even a local Chinese open source project in reality has lots of international contributors. You have like your team, your local team, and then you have all the contributors that are contributing to a node package or a Ruby gem or something like that. And so your team is really international, and we believe that GitHub and open source are what we call the interconnected community of developers, and there are no real boundaries between those developers.
Okay. There's interesting data from yesterday Apache people's presentation. It says the Chinese open source project, the active committers, I think over 40 or 50% are newbies. So their experience is less than 1 year. So do you think it's popular for the open source project, or is a unique feature for China open source project?
I think it's unique from a China perspective because just the sheer number of people, young people in China that get out of high school and into software development. But at the same time, I think a lot of young people all over the world are really excited about open source development. We see high growth numbers, for example, in Africa and Nigeria as well, or India for that matter. There's lots of young people coming out of or joining school or becoming students and are excited about open source development.
所以这也是我们为什么来华东师大办的，我觉得一个原因啊，让更多的这个学生能够加入到这个开源的这个活动里面。So there's some GitHub doing something for the education or university. So how is it going on in the global. And how do you have any plan for expanding in China?
So we do have something called the GitHub Student Developer Pack, and it's actually available wherever GitHub is available, so including China. And it offers GitHub Pro for free to all students, and it also offers partner benefits, whether it's cloud credits, software like a Git client, or services to learn and train. And it offers value to the students above $100,000. And every student can apply to this program, including students from China. We also are working with universities on programs where teachers use GitHub to run classes, called GitHub Classroom.
Yeah.
And we recently, specifically for China, published all our documentation in simplified Chinese. So that should help, or that helps students to learn more about Git and GitHub.
Okay. 在这个前不久啊，这个因为中国这个人比较重视这个刷榜啊，就是有一个欧洲的开发者就是说中国现在在霸榜那个 GitHub 的这个 Trending page， 所以我不知道这个未来会分区吗？就是 so according to Europe developer, they say Chinese repos are ruling the GitHub Trending page. So what will be your official reply? Will you set up the different region or similar like Apple's App Store or Google Play to different countries? There are different versions.
No, I actually read the blog post. It was a blog post on Medium, I believe, and came a post on Hacker News. The author actually afterwards changed the title of the blog post, and what he was shooting at was not so much talking about Chinese open source development, but about the Chinese language that he didn't understand. And so he was looking at the training page, and at that point in time, the titles and the descriptions of the repos were all in Chinese. And so I think what he actually wants is just a translation tool or a language, a human language filter, where we already have a programming language filter, but not a human language filter. That said, we don't believe in segmenting the open source market in different regions. We believe it's one community across the whole world. And so we have no plans to change our training page. If you look, I looked at it this morning, and it doesn't have any, like it has a normal distribution across projects all over the world, whether it's American projects, European projects, or Chinese projects. And it's an algorithm that's completely unbiased to country or language or origin of the project, and we have no plans to change that. It should reflect the open source community, and maybe in the future we think about translation or having multi-language descriptions, because really that's the complaint there, that the description of the repo is in simplified Chinese and not in English.
Okay, so the language is always the problem. Maybe 5 or 6 years, 7 years ago, I visited GitHub as a small company. There's less than, I think, 20 people. I visited, and the founder hosted me, and I say, so I'm from China. We have a lot of developers. We love GitHub, but we will have a Chinese version. He said, it's an interesting question. You know who come before you? I come at afternoon, and the morning there's a Japanese guy with the GitHub. He said we also have a language problem.
So I mean, as I mentioned, we are currently in the process of translating all our documentation. That's our first step, and we will consider in the future whether we translate GitHub itself into different languages. But right now we are focusing on documentation.
So there's also others culture. The people, the Chinese people more like WeChat, and we use WeChat as our working platform. But in the open source area, maybe you use email is the first one, and also Slack or something. But we use support the local platform, the working platform. There also the China. We have the enterprise WeChat. We have the Didi, for the enterprise collaboration. So we'll GitHub support that.
So I have nothing to announce on this today, but I can say that we are constantly working on improving GitHub issues. And we launched earlier this year a way to privately report security issues through the security tab on the repo, which allows you to talk about a security issue in private, so people don't see it in your public issues and then exploit that security vulnerability before you have fixed it. So we're working on improving those communication channels first, and then we'll see what launches in the future.
OK， 希望更快能够支持。Yeah. So, as a member of Microsoft family, so GitHub is standalone. It's a standalone company. So how it will be profit or there's other purpose?
So GitHub will continue to be independent. If you look at the GitHub homepage today, 1 year after our deal closed, it has no Microsoft logo on it and not a Microsoft login, and it will remain like this. Microsoft is highly committed to keep GitHub independent. If you actually come to San Francisco to our headquarters or to our conference, it's a GitHub conference in a GitHub headquarters, and you won't find any Microsoft employees other than sponsors or participants. Actually, part of my role is to make sure that this independence is retained at Microsoft. So I'm working with partners at Microsoft and making sure GitHub stays independent. And Microsoft is highly committed to this. I can't talk about our financial numbers. Our CFO is doing this every quarter as part of the earnings release. But Microsoft, Microsoft at its heart is a developer company. Back when Microsoft was founded, their first product was a basic interpreter, and so when Microsoft looked into the GitHub acquisition, it saw the home of all developers, of all modern developers, and their love for GitHub, and I figured it's really a good fit for the Microsoft family, and Microsoft wants to continue this journey and making developers more successful, whether that's student or enterprise developers on GitHub.
So how many employees for GitHub now?
I believe it's over 1,400 employees today at GitHub.
Yeah. 这个 Thomas 这个经历啊，他自己之前呢他是德国人，然后他在德国自己创业，然后有自己的这个公司叫 Hockey App， 然后被微软收购了。所以我想问他一下，就是在不同公司的工作的这个感觉。So for your working experience, you have your own startup Hockey App, and you have many experience, and then acquired by Microsoft, and you work for Microsoft for many years, and then you from Microsoft joined GitHub as a VP. So what's the different working experience or working culture in different companies?
Microsoft itself has changed a lot over the last 5 years since Satya became our CEO. Actually, Microsoft is a sponsor of this open source conference. This wasn't always the case that Microsoft would be very positive about open source, and it has changed a lot. Thank you. In the last years, whether it's things like the .NET Foundation, and .NET is a full open source project on GitHub, or whether it's all of Microsoft's documentation that's public on GitHub. You can, if you find a bug in Microsoft's documentation, you can actually just send a pull request and fix that bug in the documentation. And then I hope everybody's using VS Code, which is one of the most popular editors this year, to date, and fully developed as open source on GitHub in TypeScript. And the team is basically not only developing it on GitHub, they're also running the whole project, the project planning, product features, all this is on GitHub. So Microsoft itself has also changed a lot since the time I joined the company. It is a large company, a very enterprise-focused company with offices all around the world. And so you have all the overhead that you would expect from a big company. Lots of emails, meetings, hierarchies that require you to report up to managers and their managers. And GitHub at the same time is a still relatively small company, as I said, about 1,400 employees. So it's very agile, also highly distributed. I think GitHub was one of the first companies that really embraced the remote culture. Only about 30% of our employees are in the San Francisco area. Everybody else is somewhere in some other location. A lot of the engineers specifically work from home. And we use technologies like Slack to communicate with each other. And the other thing is that GitHub itself is run on GitHub, so we're managing all the GitHub processes, the internal company processes through GitHub itself. So that means, for example, that the legal team is using GitHub issues to discuss changes to our terms of service. If you as an employee have a question to the HR team, you would file a GitHub issue in an HR repo. So you have a very agile process. We're using our own product to develop our product and to run our company.
So is GitHub a profit company as an independent? Yeah.
I can't answer this. We are not disclosing our financial data.
Okay. So 我们很好奇这个，因为盈利还是一个很大的困难。So for the open source project, the business or commercial development is also challenging for most of the open source projects. So what you think is there any new model or something special you can share with our Chinese people?
So we announced a product called GitHub Sponsors earlier this year, which is a tool that allows the developer community to financially support open source developers.
So how is it going on?
Yeah. So it's going great so far. Everybody that has a GitHub account can become a sponsor and pay some funds every month to an open source developer, whether it's a one-time payment or a recurring payment. Right now the product is in the preview phase, so you have to apply for a waitlist to become a sponsored developer. And we will soon open this up to more developers, and it will be available in China in the coming months. And it's
called the Chinese third-party payment.
So it depends on the bank account, and we will have more information of which bank accounts qualify in the future.
OK， 好，这是一个好消息。所以我们也一直在这个研究，或者说就是开源社区的这个激励系统怎么能够更好的发展。这也有一些这个区块链的项目啊，包括那个 Gitcoin 啊，包括传统的还有那些 Patreon 啊 ，GitHub 做的这个 sponsors。所以你们还有计划，比如说也基于区块链来做这件事情吗？比如说 GitHub 会发币嘛？我们这个开源社还有一个 KuCoin 是吧？K-Coin。So for the incentive system, blockchain is hard in China now. I give you the information. So will GitHub consider to use blockchain, to incentive system?
So today we don't have any plans to directly work on blockchain from our position, but we do allow developers to not only use our own sponsor system, but also to integrate with other payment systems, whether it's Tidelift or Open Collective, to our Patreon, to name some examples. And the way that works is that you just add a funding.yaml file to your GitHub folder in your GitHub repo. And in this YAML file, you can configure your Patreon user account or your title user account, but you can also add a custom URL, a custom link to this file. And so if you have a blockchain platform or a Gitcoin platform that you want to support in your repo, then you can add this URL into this funding file, and then it will show a sponsor button at the top of the repo with a little sponsors heart. And so when people click on this, they will see not only GitHub sponsors, but also your own funding mechanisms.
所以我们 KCoin 也可以支持这个直接在 GitHub 上。然后这个现在就是一个就是这 blockchain 中国一个热啊，还有一个人工智能也很热。So there's also some develop the use deep learning or artificial intelligence to help people to code. There's also Canada guys doing deep engine. I can't remember the project name. And there are also Chinese startups. They call it AI Xcoder. And also I noticed in US there's a curve to help people to automate the coding process. So what's the, you have, I think the whole world code. So do you have some project on it, or what's your opinion for this?
So we truly believe in the future of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we have teams working on this. One example is today, if you manage a repo, you can add topics at the top of the repo that show other users what your repo belongs to, for example, Python or Go. And the way those topics are suggested is actually by analyzing your source code and learning from the source code of other repositories to show you suggestions of what are the best topics for your repo. So that's just one example of how we are using machine learning internally for GitHub users for their benefit. But we also recently launched a data set and machine learning models for a challenge that we called Code Search Net. And the way those models are trained is that they are looking at open source repos for specific languages, for example, Go, Python, PHP, and JavaScript. And those models can be used to search code not based on a keyword in that code, but based on, for example, on natural language queries. For example, you can say, I'm looking for source code that's posting an HTTP request, and then this language, a natural language, will find you code snippets in GitHub with those hits for this query. And so we published both the underlying data sets and the models, and other data scientists can use those models to train them on our data set, or use the data set actually for completely different purposes. Another example here is Microsoft's IntelliCode technology, which allows you to autocomplete your syntax in the editor. And so you type something and you type a dot, and then the autocompletion comes up, and it used to be that it was just an alphabetic list of all the methods. But instead it's now analyzing public open source repos to suggest something that is more meaningful in the context of the code that you're just writing. And so Microsoft has used GitHub public data set in public repositories to learn those models for different languages like .NET and productizes it in IntelliCode. One last thing is that we actually have a talk at ARC Summit in December in Beijing on how GitHub is using machine learning and artificial intelligence to improve the GitHub product.
Cool. So for the GitHub, what's the next step? The milestone for the GitHub developer.
So I think there's one next step, which is our own conference, GitHub Universe, in mid-November in San Francisco, where we will announce new product features. In the last months, we have launched GitHub Actions, which is our CI/CD solution. So you can use this on Linux, Windows, and Mac to continuously build your apps whenever you create a pull request or push the repo. This is currently in preview, and we have already announced that at GitHub Universe in mid-November it will GA. It will be generally available and to all users. Similarly, we have launched the GitHub Package Registry, which allows you to manage your private packages, for example, for Python or JavaScript, together with your GitHub repo. And GitHub Package Registry will also GA at GitHub Universe. So that's kind of like our next, and then we have more announcements coming at the conference.
It's really exciting. So you have held a lot of events and conferences in global. Will it come to China next year? Do you have?
Yeah. So we're actually coming, as I mentioned, we are coming to ARC Summit in December. We're also doing a developer meetup in Shenzhen and one in Beijing that same week. I believe it's December 4 and 6 that we're doing those meetups. And we have plans to come back next year for more meetups and also to participate in more conferences, working with more schools and universities, and expand GitHub's presence in China.
Okay. So you have been in China for many times. So you have visited a lot of the local developers. So could you give them some your discovery or your advice for the China local?
That's a good question. I would say, stay hungry, stay foolish. Be excited about the projects you're working on across the boundaries, as is the motto of this conference. There's really from my perspective, there's really no boundary between Chinese open source developers or Western open source developers. We are one community. We want to work together as one community. And there's obviously, sometimes language barriers or time zone barriers. But other than that, I think, as a community, we should really work together and be excited about the future of open source. When we talk with enterprise customers, we show them statistics of that basically more than 98% of projects today are based on open source, one way or another, whether it's your editor or your dependency tree. And that means that ultimately open source has won. Open source is there, and it's there to stay in the industry, and it is important for any CEO, CTO, or CIO, because ultimately every company is becoming a software company in the future.
Good question. 我们还有时间是吧？那个现场如果有人有什么问题可以好，这个小伟。
我是一个产品经理，所以我听到这个 Thomas 也在负责产品团队的时候，我非常高兴。我想问一个产品经理相关的问题。因为我们团队会给我们的产品经理定 KPI， 所以我很想知道 GitHub 的产品团队的 KPI 是什么？或者说这个问题换过来说，在你们看来 ，GitHub 的产品做成什么样子，做到什么程度，对你们来说才是成功？谢谢。
That's a really good question. So we're using a system called Objectives and Key Results, OKRs, that was published a while back as a book. And so as a company, we have company level OKRs, and then each team, the product team, the engineering team, and the sales team have their own OKRs. At the company level, we're mostly tracking, of course, our financial data like revenue and contribution margin or profit. We're also tracking how many users are actually using GitHub on a daily and monthly basis. And so the product team obviously needs to drive those metrics up as an increase active developers compared to the number of total developers. But they're also tracking product launches and product satisfaction. At a feature level, it's really important that we not only ship preview features like actions and package registry, but also bring them into general availability. That we scale GitHub, or to give you an example, that we have better performance for GitHub in China.
Thank you, Thomas. I'm a developer from SAP, and actually, we in SAP we have a lot of development CI/CD tools solutions. But now, our German architect is keen on GitHub Actions. He says GitHub Actions is really cool, but GitHub Actions is GA on GitHub Open Source, but not on GitHub Enterprise. So when is the timeline for the GitHub Actions on GitHub Enterprise? And as a Node.js developer, I have a Node.js library. I tried GitHub Actions a little bit, and it's really cool. But what's the advantage of GitHub Actions to other solutions like Jenkins or other Kubernetes? Actually, it's very CD solutions. Thank you.
Yeah, to go backwards from your last question, I think the biggest advantage of GitHub Actions is that it's part of your GitHub workflow. It's actually more than just CI/CD. You can also connect GitHub Actions into your issues or notification workflows. It lives in the GitHub user interface, and it's right there when you start working with it. But another benefit is that the GitHub Actions configuration is part of your repo. So it's just a YAML file in your repo, and that means, especially for open source projects, that when you fork a repo, you're also forking the CI/CD setup. So everybody who's contributing to a repo can fork your action setup and run your same action setup in their fork. That's what we think is one of the biggest benefits of GitHub Actions. At the same time, of course, GitHub has a huge ecosystem, and we are very proud to work with our partners on the partnership. So we will keep working with those CI/CD partners going forward. On the GitHub Actions for on-prem setup, I don't have any announcement today, but we have already announced that we will launch hosted runners, so you can run the build itself on your own premises and connect those runners into the cloud.
还有吗？刚才这位第一排。
I'm from Alibaba Cloud, and we all know that GitHub is a really develop-focused product. And I'm really curious about do you have any kind of developer relations department, and what's the relation between the developer relation team and the product team? Because we're trying to explore our relationship with developers, and we are thinking about is there any kind of boundaries and similarities between those two departments, like we can have some input to the product team.
Great question. So at GitHub, the developer relations team is actually part of the product team. So the developer relations leader reports to our SVP of product. So we see them as part of one team, and they're working very closely together. Our developer relations team is actually coming to China as part of ARC Summit in our meetups. So if you come to our meetups in December, you can meet with the dev people. Separate from this, we have a business development team that lives in our reports up to our Chief Operating Officer, COO. And we have an ecosystem team that works really closely with partners on integrations, as in using our API, launching an app on our marketplace, and similar topics. And of course, all the teams, and we mentioned the benefits of a small company before, are working very closely together, and you get access to them through the partnership team.
他对机器人的那个看法。
对什么？
机器人。
机器人的看法。
对。
机器人能再描述一下什么样的机器人？
就是工业机器人。
工业机器人。So you are from German. So he is questioning about industry robotics. What's your point?
It's a great question. Yeah, I'm from Germany. I actually grew up in East Germany in Berlin. I did robotics in university, mobile robotics at the time in the late 90s. The robots were still very big, driving through the building. We had a robot that would drive through the building and grab a coffee. And then I did robotics at Mercedes-Benz, where we leveraged robotic technologies and algorithms to prevent collisions. So if you drive a Mercedes, or actually most cars have that today, it will beep before a collision happens and then automatically brake to avoid the collision. So it's not directly robotics, but it's the same robotic technologies and the same control system designs applied to car technology. I don't have a view on robotics in Germany today, but that's kind of what I know.
Yeah. But software, all companies will be software, and all the products will be the software driven or the AI driven. So maybe industry robotics is become a revolution now. 现在其实技术上都是有机器人的技术，有 AI 的技术，然后有计算机视觉的技术，所以现在把它混合在一起，我觉得可能会有突破。我帮他回答一下。好。So thank you for Thomas, and hope we will have more progress for GitHub and also for China open source project, some open source communities in the next year.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah. Thank you.